Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Tamika Price, creator of the group She Grown with Dr. Price. I'm pretty sure most of you are not familiar with the group. Um, it's a group that I started to encourage and empower women. As a woman, we are always making sacrifices. This I know. And I know what it's like to make sacrifices for others and negate yourself, whether it's children, significant other, family, friends, parents, work, etc., etc. And oftentimes we're so busy loading other people on the elevator to the top that we forget every now and then we need to hop on that elevator as well. And so I wanted to start a movement to encourage women and to actually remind women that God has gifted us all with the calling as well, and that we shouldn't hang up the phone on our calling because we're so busy trying to answer the calling for everyone else. Now, don't get me wrong, I love motivating women, but hey, if it's a man that needs motivation, whatever, a gorilla, a bear, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure I have some type of motivational tip for everybody. So, again, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me as I launch my new podcast, She Grown with Dr. Price. Um, this is something that I've been wanting to do for about a year now. I am excited. I think I have some valuable tips to share, some based on different things that I've experienced in my life. And I hope that somewhere along the way, you will find some mojo, some motivation, some encouragement, some guidance, some hope from the stories that I share with you based on my limited amount of time here on earth. Um, this show is going to be a lot of things. Do not let the title doctor fool you. Yes, I do have a PhD, but I am ignorant. Okay. Child, I am ignorant. I can be a whole fool. I could be ghetto. I could be ratchet. I could be professional. I could be it all. I'm like a chameleon, you know. I kind of fit in wherever I go. And so this show is going to be a lot of things. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to come in with the mindset that when I leave this episode today, I'm going to leave it with whatever I need to make it through the day. Um, a she grown woman is a woman that is continuously conquering everything that life throws at her, and yet, some kind of way, she still rises. This has been much of my life. Life has thrown all kinds of curveballs, but some kind of way, I still rose to the occasion, and I want you to do the same. So, I'm going to launch my podcast with the series Power Thoughts. Think me later, not thank me later. Think me later. Yes, I'm country. I know. I'm pretty sure you've noticed it by now. I'm from Southwest Georgia. I can't help it. But yes, I am launching the series Power Thoughts. Think me later. And you're probably wondering why power thoughts. Um, your thought process is so important. The Bible tells us that as a man thinketh, so is he. Sidebar: I am not a Bible scholar. This is not a Bible study. I just believe in God. I am a Christian. So I try to live my life based on biblical principles. I'm not perfect, but I am forgiven. Thank God. um, but my godmother always tells me what you think about, you bring about. So when you think about your life and things that have happened along the way, when you reflect on your thought process, how has your life reflected the things that you have thought about? This is why I think that power thoughts are so important. Because if you can control your thoughts, and you can, then you have the propensity to change the the path of your life. Um, but as a woman, it's hard to be positive because we're juggling so many things. As a man, it's hard to be positive because a man juggles so many things. Life has a tendency to happen, but we have the propensity to determine how we react to life. Is it happening to us or is it happening for us? And so I think that a lot of how we look at things is based on how we think about things. And oftentimes, in our heads, we have two voices. We have the good voice, the angelic voice that's hallelujah. No, I can't sing, whatever. And then we have that demonic voice, that raspy voice, that voice that we know we shouldn't listen to, but it's often loud and it's just streaming and screaming at us every day. And so we have to make it a point to say, I'm going to tune out these negative thoughts and think positive, but it's not always easy. Um, and when you think about it, we're surrounded by so much negativity. We're surrounded by the news and what's going on with the pandemic, and somebody's been killed today, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you jump on social media and you see people arguing back and forth with each other. You see more negative news. It's so much negativity in the world that it's almost like, who can be positive, But most of the time, negative thoughts, they stem from a disappointing situation or some type of trauma or something that actually triggers our negative thinking. Um, it could be a disappointment, something that you had your hopes set on happening and it did not happen. Or it could just be worrying. The Bible also talks about evil forebodings, which is just always thinking the worst. Um, a lot of times I tell myself, Tamika, most of what you think about does not happen. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I have to work extra, extra hard to ensure that I am being positive. So, most of the time in our lives, when we think about negative situations, a lot of it stems from situations that didn't work the way we wanted them to work. Um, and when you combine that with the negativity that we see on the news and on social media, it's hard to be positive. And so negativity for me, it often happens in phases. Um, I kind of think about negativity the way I think about a situation with an ex-boyfriend. I'm pretty sure we've all had that one ex, whether it's an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, that you broke up with them, you talked all kinds of trash about them. Oh, he ain't this and she ain't that, and blah blah this and blah blah that, and you've made it seem to your friends like you're done with them, like I'm over her, I'm over him. I have nothing else to say to them. But deep in the back of your mind, you still love them. You miss them. You're still in love. But you've talked so much trash about them that you have to, on the surface, make it seem like I don't care what happens to them. And so to me, negativity is like that ex boyfriend that sends that one message. You know how you get that one text message? Hey, that's all it says. And that one text message has just changed the dynamic of your entire day. You might have woke up in a bad mood. And because you got that one text message after you have not heard from Jody in about 3 weeks, he texts you, hey, and your whole world just changes. Well, guess what? That's kind of like negativity. Negativity is like that boyfriend that starts out with one word, one thought, and you try to dismiss it, but it's hard because, hey, when you think about that ex boyfriend, you still love them, right? You still kind of miss them, still kind of in love with them, still kind of want to be with them. You swear you're done with them, but it's like, am I really? So when you let that one negative thought enter your mind, then you're starting to court negativity. And in a sense, you think, oh, I'm in control. So yeah, I might let that one thought in, but I can control the rest. And then the next thing you know, you enter the second phase, which is, okay. Now I've let negativity in. But guess what? Nothing new is being said. Nothing's changing in my life. As a matter of fact, when you let that ex back in, what happens? Things often get worse. And so you've invited negativity into your mindset. And now you're always in a bad mood. You're always cranky. You're lashing out at people because you let negativity in when you started entertaining negativity from the start. So you think about it, you get that text message from that ex and you respond, hey, and then the next thing you know, you're in a full fledged conversation. And then the next thing you know, you're opening your front door because, hey, I just want to stop by and see how you were doing. And we've opened Pandora's box all over again. So now we're tired of the thoughts. We're tired of the negativity that is controlling our lives. We want to get rid of it, but we just don't know how. And honestly speaking, this is the stage of the negative thought process that most people get stuck in. Most people get stuck in the stage of, I hate being negative in my mind. I hate having negative thoughts. But how do I get rid of it? It's hard. It's hard to keep it out. But once you let it in, it's even harder to get rid of it. And so a lot of people get stuck on this stage. And then you can tell when you see someone, you might give them a compliment. And what do they say? Oh, this so thing. Oh, girl, I've had this forever. Oh, I didn't have anything to wear today. Oh, my hair isn't as cute. All this and all that. And you're like, just take the damn compliment and go on. Excuse my French. And so you're at this point where you know you need to get rid of it, but you just don't know how. You don't know if you even have what it takes to get rid of it. Because to be honest with you, your mental can wear you down just as much as your physical. A lot of people underestimate mental tiredness, but it's a lot harder to recoup from it than it is from physical tiredness. Take it from me, I know. And so now we're stuck at this phase, but we're ready to move on to the last phase, which is okay, ex-boyfriend, you have not improved my situation. You've made it worse. It's time for you to go. So now you're ready to escort them out. It's like R. Kelly said, when a woman's fed up, there is nothing you can do about it. And so we often become fed up with the ex boyfriend who has nothing new to say, who tricked us into thinking that he was just checking on us from the start when really he wanted to invite himself back into our lives. We respond, and then the rest is history. So now we're at the point where we want that ex boyfriend to be gone. We want those negative thoughts to be gone. You're desperate to get rid of it. You're tired of the messages. You try to ignore them. You try to reject it. And you have to end up blocking it altogether. You knew from the start he wasn't supposed to be there. But because you felt like you had enough control, you decide, hey, I'll entertain this one text message. I'll entertain this one negative thought. But that's it. So I remember a situation where this one guy I used to date, we broke up. He sent me a text message. I responded because I'm like, I tell him, hey, but that's it. I ain't talking to him beyond that. The next thing I know, he's texting me again. How are you? I'm good. I guess I respond, I'm good. I mean, gosh, he just asked how I was doing. And then the next thing I know, it's, oh, I miss you, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. And now we're engaged in a full conversation. You already know you're not supposed to entertain that. But hey, why not, right? And so this is how negativity works. You know you're not supposed to entertain negativity. You know you're not supposed to allow not even one negative thought to enter your mind frame, but you have to be aggressive and forceful and determined enough to say, I'm not going to entertain you today. Not today, devil. Not today. Uh, I think that we underestimate just how powerful our thoughts are. When you are constantly living in a state of negativity, and dysfunction, it damages not only you, but the people around you. And this is why I wanted to start with the series Power Thoughts, because our thoughts not only impact us and affect us, but they also affect the people around us. You know the saying, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So now, you're constantly worrying, which is literally driving you insane. And someone said once that dis-ease creates disease. So when you're constantly stressing and worrying yourself, what are you doing to your body? Is it really worth it? Ask yourself that. Is it really worth it? When you're constantly worrying about something you probably don't even really have control over, then you're not focusing on the things that really matter most. Um, you lose focus, you lose sight over what's going on within your household with your children, your spouse, your parents. You lose sight and focus on who you are and what you've been called to be because you're so busy worrying about something that you don't have control over anyway. I live by the scripture in Romans 8 and 28, and it tells us that um, all things work together for good. So that means that regardless of what happens, it's going to work for our good anyway. So why are we worrying, right? It also has the propensity to mess up relationships with our friends, our children, our spouses. That negativity, it takes root in us and it causes so many things to go haywire and we don't even realize it. We're often blaming on other people thinking that there's something wrong with them. That might be true, but 9 times out of 10, if nobody wants to talk to you, if everybody's trying to avoid you, sugar pie is probably not them. I'm pretty sure it's you. So it messes up relationships. And nowadays we need as many positive relationships, as many authentic relationships as we can get, especially when it comes to the people that we love the most. Um, you have the tendency to take it out on other people when you're mad, when you're angry. They say you take it out on the people closest to you, the people that you love the most. And that's what negative thoughts does for you. You take it out on the people who matter the most because you're irritated about something that 9 times out of 10, it ain't got a hill of beans to do with them anyway, right? But that's how it goes. You make rash decisions. You don't think anything through. You are so busy living in a negative state that you're not thinking about what you're thinking about. And so you're just making decisions. Sometimes you might look up and everything works out okay. Sometimes not so well. And so our thoughts are so important that I think that we don't realize that when we think negative, we're not only hurting ourselves, we're not only killing our passions, but we're destroying our dreams. Triggers, those are things that we need to be mindful of because a lot of times it's triggers that cause us to think negative. It's triggers that makes us angry. And these things turn into depression. I heard a preacher say recently that depression is anger turned inward. What are you angry about? What is that one thing that has made you so angry that you have just decided, I'm giving up. I'm just going to wake up with no direction, no nothing. That's not a good thought process to have. But often we become so upset with the situation that we become depressed and we don't even realize it. That's what negative thinking does for us. It takes us to a place that we really shouldn't go. We really don't want to go. It takes the life out of us. It leaves us hopeless. And we know that the Bible says hope deferred makes the heart sick. So I hope today If nothing else, you're thinking, the wheels in your head are turning. Okay, what am I thinking about? Is it good? Is it bad? Does it help? Is it hurting me? Is it hurting someone else? Um, Personally speaking, if I had understood the power of a thought years ago, I'm pretty sure I will be a lot further off now than where I am. And I want you to start thinking about it because moving forward, we are going to live in a place of positivity. You have been called to do great things. And I don't want you to miss out on what God has called you to do because you don't believe in yourself. I believe in you because I know that everything you need to be who God has called you to be, He has already equipped you with it. Hey, if He wanted you to be something else, He would have gifted you with something else. You have what it takes to be who He has called you to be, but you have to get it in your mind. Everything starts with the thought. Everything starts with a thought. You have to determine if that thought is good, if that thought is bad, if that thought is going to help me, or if it's going to hinder me. Nobody can change that for you. It has to be something that you want to do for yourself. So, thank you for tuning in today. That will wrap up episode 1 of Power Thoughts Think Me Later. Come back next week for episode 2 of the series and tune in as we discuss ways that changing negative thoughts to positive thoughts can impact our lives. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at She's So Grown. Until next time, be good or be good at it.